met 95-year-old Virginia Morgan several months ago at an assisted living center. I learned she is a violinist, although she was quick to brush the descriptor off with, but I have not played a violin in years. I promised Virginia I would visit her later that week with my violin. That weekend, I was reeling from stress and heartache because of work and relationships. I wanted nothing more than to wallow the day away. But I made a promise to Virginia. I called my dad and asked him to find my violin. "Why in the world do you need a violin?" he asked. "You're a pianist." Then on a sunny Saturday afternoon, I stood next to Virginia's bed and I handed her my violin. She cradled it like a baby and made endearing sounds as she admired its beauty and touched the strings. We spent 2 hours together that day, and I made music on an instrument I had not played in over a decade. She told me when to use more bow and when I was out of tune. She shared stories of her father, who played the violin like an angel. Music was such an important part of her family that her father even traded a workhorse in order for the family to have a piano. In one short afternoon, Virginia taught me more about compassion than most encounters I have as a musician, educator, and arts executive. As a society, we focus most of our efforts towards educating youth and tend to overlook what the older generations can teach us. I discovered intergenerational learning during my doctoral studies as a way to address the issue of isolation between generations. I wanted to know everything about it. Through my experiences with implementing programs, I saw the social impact on people from different walks of life learning with and from each other. And this changed me as an educator and as a musician. This type of learning brings cohesiveness to our community by being inclusive of all ages. The focus is on creating shared spaces where unrelated younger and older people can learn together. By doing so, we bridge the isolation between generations by building personal connections. The music classroom is the perfect place to bring generations together because all of us connect with music on some level. Years of data show active music making as a contributor towards cognitive development and neuroplasticity throughout our lifespan. Musicians learn how to actively listen and communicate with each other. The social aspect of group music making allows us to appreciate the abilities and interests of others. Intergenerational learning can occur between an older adult and a child, a teenager, or a young adult. The generations take on different roles depending on the age groups involved, the subject, and the intention of the program. Adults as mentors, youth assisting adults, or equal learners. Within the learning space, the young and old are paired as learning partners, and the teacher is no longer the primary source of information. Successful programs teach a skill, build trust, and plan learning activities with the input of the participants. They balance structured interactions with informal ones, and often include group discussions. While I was at the University of Texas at Austin, I taught a group piano class that was required for music majors. My students were phenomenal violinists, percussionists, vocalists, but in class, many faced the challenge of learning new skills and were often frustrated. As an instructor, I wanted to create a learning environment where they could help themselves, so I turned my course into a shared classroom. Instead of 16 college students who would rather be practicing their part in the Beethoven Symphony, my class paired 8 college students with 8 older adults. The older adults also played another instrument, although for some, it may have been 30 years since they played. During class, we worked through concepts as a group, and the learners practiced with their partners. As they worked together, I saw them providing feedback for each other and praising one another on their achievements. When asked about their experiences with their learning partners, one adult said, "The college student is very patient. He's willing to go slowly to help me." The college student said, "Having to explain the concepts allowed me to really remember the content. My college students connected with the materials more effectively when they had the opportunity to help the older adults. By helping others, they were helping themselves." By being in the class, several of the older adults fulfilled a life goal of learning how to play the piano, and they passed on their life experiences through the friendships they established. Intergenerational learning environments allow us to experience empathy, acceptance, purpose, you name it. Through research in psychology, gerontology, and arts education, we're accruing data on people reporting improved psychosocial well-being, increase in self-esteem, a reduction in ageism stigmas, and a decrease in social isolation, all while sharing and acquiring knowledge together. At this point, you may be wondering, given the merits of shared learning environments, why are these programs not more common in our community? 2 words: public awareness. Experts in the field are creating more shared learning environments in music, visual arts, dance, science, and even technology. By combining our ideas and strategies, we're able to serve our community of learners more effectively. There's a lot of groundwork before these learning opportunities become more popular, but if you look, you may find them already happening in your city. In Salt Lake City, the Mundi Project, a nonprofit community music organization, is launching an intergenerational music program for preschooler and seniors at Neighborhood House. Neighborhood House is a shared site for all ages. They provide affordable youth and senior daycare services for the community. The music learners will interact through singing and songwriting. Creativity comes easily to kids, but it is often inhibited in adults. When adults participate in activities alongside children, it often sparks an interest to explore that creative side. They will learn new skills together. They will share stories with each other. Together, they will make music, and the seniors will be less lonely. Who does this type of learning make a difference for? It makes a difference for you, your children, parents, grandparents. When we experience meaningful connections between generations, we learn about and from people who are different from ourselves. We become community members who can demonstrate social empathy, and we embrace the diversity of life experiences. In the 1920s, the conversation education began to include adult learners. For a long time, there was a need to create opportunities for adults to learn and make music together. Today, there are various avenues for adults, including learning on apps. However, if our community only focuses on the traditional model of learning according to our own age groups, we're missing a massive opportunity for people to connect, missing the opportunity to show our younger generations what it means to be a lifelong learner. I am inspired by Virginia and my students to make my community more inclusive. We can build more programs that include all ages in our neighborhoods. Whether it's learning an instrument, learning a language, or learning how to knit, the classes and events you attend could mean so much more. Make interacting with young and old friends part of your life, and let's take this opportunity to be a society that is more understanding of cultural, gender, and age differences. Thank you.